So first I'm going to start with the program loop. So I'm going to make a new file and call it testdemo.py because that's a Python extension. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is first I'm going to start with the program loop. So what I did before was I used a while loop. So now how do I make a while loop in Python? I'm just going to look that up real quick. And this looks like it might be useful. Alright. So while, and then here is the condition. So next, the condition probably has to be a variable, right? So how do I make a variable in Python? Python variable. And here it is. It looks like I don't need to specify the type, I just have to have a name and a value. So, easy enough. So, this is how you make a comment in Python. And what I said was I was going to make the program loop first. So, main program loop. And what was it? Yeah, while, okay. And then I need to make the condition. So, let's call it main loop status, and let's call it running. And then was there any brackets or braces between the condition? There was not. So while this thing is equal to running, I'm guessing that the equal operator in as in for comparison will also work in the same way. So if this equals running, then, and with this thing, how does scope work? So it looks like there is no opening or closing braces. So it would seem that the scope of something is based on the indenting, like here and here. Okay, I guess that's easy enough. So now what do I want to do within the program loop? The first thing I want to do is get the user input. And this is for whether or not the user wants to generate the password. So yes, no, on generating password. Okay, and the next thing that I want to do is actually generate the password. So how do I get user input? Well, I'm going to look that up. Python user input. And this looks like it's useful. Okay. So in this example here, they are assigning the user input directly to the variable. So it's in one step instead of two. And it looks like this part here, which I've highlighted, is the message prompt. And it is part of the input code on the same line. So, alright, that's what I'm going to do. First, I have to make a variable to hold the input. Call it user input generate password. And it was input and the message in quotes. So, do you want to generate a random password? yes, no. And there are no semicolons or anything at the end of lines. Okay, great. Now, does this work? Now, for my setup, this is how I run Python code. Python 3, and the file is called testdemo.py. So, okay, cool, that worked. I just have to make one tiny change here. I'm going to do this, and the input is, and the output is a bit clearer. Excellent. So now, I have that. The next part is to check if the user input is yes or no. And for that, I have to make an if statement because I'm checking if the input is yes or if it is no. So how do I do that in Python? Python if statement. Here we go. And it looks like the if statement is basically the same principle as the while loop. The statement here, and then the condition, and then a colon, and then the scope of the statement is based on indenting. So, alright, that's easy enough. If I don't know why I did this. It's a bit, I guess it's a force of habit, but let's see if this actually works. So, what's the condition? If the user input for the password is equal to yes, then what I want to do is generate the password. So I'm going to remove this comment, and it would appear that I can't have a blank statement, as you can see based on this red here. So I guess I'm just going to print out something to the terminal just to not have this error. So how do I print stuff to the terminal? I'm pretty sure I saw that here actually. Yeah, print. Cool. Okay. So I'm gonna go print, and I'm gonna print out a password will now be generated. Great. Now, if the user input is no. Whoops, that is a C++ if statement. But apparently, putting the condition in brackets does actually work. So I'm going to keep doing that, I guess. Okay, if the user input is equal to no, then what I want to do is exit the program. And I'm just going to print out a message to the terminal. That message will be the program will exit. And to exit the loop, the main program loop, I'm going to do it in the exact same way. And that is, I am going to change the value of the condition for the main program loop to something which is not running. So I'm going to call it not running. So let's see if this works. Yes, I do. Excellent. The program is still running. No, I don't. The program will exit, and the program has exited. Okay, great. Now, the third case which I had to consider was if the user entered something which was not yes and also not no. So, how do I check for multiple conditions? Let's see here. I have an else if here, which I will need later, and an else. Is there an and? Oh, here's and. So it literally is just if condition, then the word and then a condition. Easy enough. So I am just going to make a separate if statement for that. I could use an else, but I'm not going to. So if the user input is not yes and not no. So if this thing here is not equal to yes and not equal to no, I want to print a message to the terminal saying please enter yes or no. Or invalid input, please enter yes or no. So let's see if this works. Yes, I do. Great. I know that no works, so let's go with something which is not yes and not no. Invalid input, please enter yes or no. Great, that worked. Okay, so now that I have a means of exiting the main program loop and a means of recognizing the correct inputs, that is good. Now I have to generate the password. So, first off, I have to know, again, how long the password is. So I'm going to get user input for the length of the password. So I'm going to call it user input password length and input how many characters must the password be? Enter a number. So let's see what this does. It probably is going to... Okay. Well, I made a typo here. I guess I can't put in... Yeah. That's typo. That's fine. So, yes I do. And... Oh, hold on a minute. That's better. Okay, yes I do. Enter number, 78. Okay, that works. Excellent. Now, the next question is, what is the type of the user input from the input code here? So, I suppose I could just look this up. Get variable type. Okay, what's this? Variable name, nope. Okay, so there's a type function. How do I use, oh, okay, that's easy. So, what's the type? Will it save as like a string, or will the type of the input be based on the thing that you enter in? Let's take a look-see. So I'm going to print the type of this here. Okay. Enter a number, and it looks like class str. Well, that's probably a string. Let's see if it says here what it is. Okay. It does not say here, but I'm gonna look this up. I'm pretty sure this is in fact a string. And blah blah blah. Oh. Okay. And okay. Yeah, so it's basically a string. Cool. So now I have what I have to do is generate the password based on the length of the password that the user has entered. So I have to convert, I'm going to remove this. So I have to convert this here into an int. So how do I do that? Python convert string to int. Okay. This looks like it might be useful. Okay, is there a function? I want the function. I would read through all this, but... oh, here we are. So it's just int. And then the string. Okay, cool. So let's see if this works. Then convert the password length user input into a string. So call it password length converted is equal to, what was it again? It was int, yeah. So int, and then this thing here, and then just to see what the result of this is, I'm going to print out a message afterwards, and that message is a password of, and then, well, I gotta print multiple things here. So would this work? Maybe. Let's see what happens. A password of this length will now be generated. So I'm gonna run it. I want to generate the password. That's good. So enter a number. I'm going to start with a number which I know is going to work, like 34. And what happened here? Okay, so I guess the problem was with the print statement. Well, fine then. I'm gonna replace the plus the addition operators with commas. Yes, I do. 34. Great. A password of 34 length. Okay, yep, that is correct. I'm gonna fix some spacing. Enter in 34, and why is there this like massive space here? That's not very important to this program, but I kind of want to fix that actually. So, Python print, what's the problem here? Spacing between, I know what spacing. Okay. Cool. What is this? No, that's not quite fine. Spacing between elements, maybe? Or, oh, hold on a minute. What's this? Okay, no, that's not useful. So Python print multiple variables. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Is this okay? Is this useful at all? No, it is not. Arg. Let's try a different route then. So, the spacing here is also like the characters which separate the three things which I am printing. So, maybe Python print separator. Well, this looks like this actually might be what I need then. Arguments. So separator between arguments blah 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 is a space by default, which can be modified. Okay. Okay, so it would appear that I can actually change the characters which separate the things that I'm printing with this bit here. And this should change the separator to basically nothing, like blank text. So I guess I just toss it at the end of the print statement. Yes, I do. Enter number 34. A password of 34 length will now be generated. Excellent. And note, however, that the spacing between the 34 and the two strings on the left and right side of it is now just a single space and not like, where was that? A massive space. So yeah. Okay, anyways, back to the actual main part of the program.